Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Cornelia Stephanie Show. I'm Cornelia Stephanie, your host, and we're here living heaven on earth. Thank you so much for listening and for tuning in. One of the reasons why I created this show is because I want to offer the listeners a beautiful structure of what it looks like when we're living heaven on earth, and so that we can have beautiful conversations with people that are embodying that way of living, that are walking their talk, that are game changers on the planet, and that are doing extraordinary things, and also offering the tools on how to navigate these interesting times. And the reason why this is so important is because these people that I bring onto this show, they have done it themselves. They're doing it and they're living it. And that's what makes them so authentic. It's what makes me authentic. And it is what will make you authentic too once you're integrating this type of lifestyle, this way of living. Because part of living heaven on earth, it's not a mental construct. It's a reality. This template exists, and it's an opportunity for everybody to say, yes, I want to live my heaven on earth too. And so, what would living heaven on earth be like without perceiving the world through the eyes of an angel? And I want to tell you about one of my other co-hosts, Tom Lombrazzo. And Tom comes on the first Friday of every month. And Tom was a city planner for over 40 something years. And he was very much in his left brain, linear, very, planner, had to have everything planned out. And his life entirely changed one day when he was driving down the highway and heard the voice, an angel's voice, tell him to slow down now. And if Tom would not have listened to this show, to this voice, he would have been dead because he ended up getting into an accident, and it would have been a fatal accident. The accident that he did have wasn't fatal, but it changed his life forever. Him and his wife wrote a book called The Magic of Finding Love and Peace. And Tom's on the show the first Friday of every month. And everybody should get this book. This book is $25. You can get it on his website, and it is loaded with high vibrational frequency. And if you were not a believer in angels before, after reading this book and listening to Tom and the amazing vibration that he brings to the planet, you will be a believer. So www.whenangelstouch.com with Tom Lombrazzo. He's on the Living Your Heaven on Earth radio show every single first Friday of the month at 12 noon. My other extraordinary co-host is Charlene Hess. And Charlene is an empowerment coach. She's a hairdresser. She's a fitness instructor. She does a lot of different things. And Charlene is on the third Friday of every month. And one of the things that Charlene is helping us with right now, she's helping us with connecting deeper to our calling, what our purpose is. What would heaven on earth be like if we didn't know what our calling was, if we didn't know what our purpose is? And so if you didn't get a chance to watch the interview that I did with her just the last Friday, it was absolutely incredible. People have been calling in and can't wait to see what the next show is going to be about, because she took us into her perception of meditation. She's the authority in that, and she told us an incredible story, and she's offering free coaching for everyone that wants in regards to meditation. You can email Charlene at livingwhole@charlenehess.com. And you can also go to her website at charlenehess.com and take a look at what she's offering there. And now I'm so excited about today's show, because this is like such a huge thing for us, because the person that I'm going to introduce you to is a dear, dear, dear friend of mine, a soul sister, and she is one that is of high integrity, walking the path. And one of the things about my guest today is that she's been through the trenches, and she's absolutely an extraordinary person, and I can't wait to introduce you to her, but I want to read her bio. So I'm going to pull that up right now. So Susan Glavin, she's an author, she's an inspired speaker, a teacher, and a student of the magic and mystery of life. She's the co-creator of Be the Gift. And one day we'll tell you what that means. What is the co-creator of Be the Gift? Because that's one of the things I want to ask her about. She facilitates women's creation circles for the past 8 years, and she's active with that. She has claimed and embraced her high priestess hood and is a lover of magic and wonder and awe of life. She is currently creating a course to support women and men to live their beauty and mastery from the inside out, sharing that work in the hair design industry because she's also a hairdresser as well and has been for over 30 something years. But the one thing that this bio doesn't say, and I am officially now announcing this because one of my gifts is I help people receive the acknowledgement of their highest vibration on a platform in a structure. And Susan embodies the Sophia Code. And we'll talk more about what the Sophia Code means, but the Sophia Code is about the presence of high vibrational unconditional love, and it's about the Magdalene energy, it's about the Mary Magdalene energy, it's about Shekinah, it's about the Holy Spirit, it's about grace. And Susan is a bringer of that code. She's a liver of it. And so I want to be able to acknowledge her here first today on the show publicly as a bringer of the Sophia Code. Welcome to the show, Susan Glavin.
Oh, honey, I think I'm just going to receive all those extraordinary, beautiful words from you. I'm just going to take a second here because I'm like, wow. Thank you. And thank you, love. I just have to say, you are one of my favorite people on the planet. You have been a soul sister for, many, many years. We knew we were supposed to be together for a long time. And this is like a really profound moment, actually, for me. And I know for you, for us to be together. And I love, one of the things that I absolutely love about you is that it is your dedication, your devotion, and the most high integrity as you have walked your journey. It's been such a beautiful gift for me. And I know all the hundreds and thousands of people that you are touching and will touch in the future. So thank you. And thank you for this wonderful opportunity to really share, my journey. And my intent is that it will somehow, inspire others to live their highest destiny here on the planet today, because the time is now.
Yeah.
It really is. The time is now.
Well, here's the thing, about you, Susan, is you are such a light. There is something that is so uniquely amazing about you and the gift that you bring that just lights people up. So you can't even do anything about it anyway, because it's just part of it. So that's what's going to happen on this segment today. I'm excited to talk about one of my favorite subjects with you, because we're talking about high integrity. When you're talking to me about what you appreciate about me, I'm just mirroring to you who you are, and the high integrity, being devoted on your path, being of service, and the people that you're touching. Because that's part of that Sophia Code. That's part of the energy. That's part of the Magdalene. That's part of the Mother Mary. It's part of all of that, walking the talk. And you and I, we're living in our mastery, and that's what it is that we're here to share with others today, to show them, hey, this is what it's about. Yeah. We share many things in common, but one of the main things is the power of the spoken word. And so your signature line, as I was talking about, that's your signature. That's what I'm branding you with, is your word is your wand.
Yes, babe. And I was woken, I think it was about 5 years ago now, woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning, which I call the angel hour. And I heard clearly, your words are your wand. And I was like, wow, okay. So I had to really sit with that. And, over the last 5 years, I've really realized just how powerful and potent our words are in creating our realities, especially today. For me, before I say anything, I ask myself this question: is this going to add value to life or take it away? So I'm really very conscious of what I speak into the world. Haven't always been. This has been a little process for me. And it's so funny because people just will say things offhand like, oh, this is so hard. I had a friend, we're doing an art class, and she goes, this is so hard. And I looked at her and I said, oh, honey, I said, this is just an opportunity for you to stretch. She goes, well, I didn't really mean that. And I just love her dearly. But the thing is, it was already spoken out of her mouth. So that's what I'm talking about. It's those little things that we think don't matter that much, right?
Yes.
You say this or that, and it's like, oh, it's no big deal. It is a big deal. And we really need to be really conscious of that, and it does take practice. I would tell people, don't beat yourself up over this. This takes time and practice doing this to really be clear about what you're speaking in the world, because I know from reading the Sophia Code, which I totally love, that back in the Egyptian mystery schools, they would take weeks, months on one syllable, the vibration of one syllable. And the greatest thing about that is they did all that work for us. So now we just to be really clear about what is it that we're speaking. And I'll tell you two of the biggies for me. If people could just consider doing this. First, stop complaining. Second would to be stop gossiping. Those two things will dramatically shift your life into a higher vibration.
So would you challenge our audience today to completely remove those two things out of their life, to stop gossiping? I challenge you to stop gossiping. I challenge you to stop complaining.
Yes.
Would you like to set forth that challenge?
I would love to support and inspire that in their lives. And I would also like to say it's going to take you a little time, because we're so used to complaining. It's like an automatic for people. Well, people complain to connect, to be a part of. They complain to get recognition.
It's a habit.
It's a habit. It is a habit. And many people, I would say quite a few people, that is their mode of language.
It's really a good one, their mode of language. Susan, we're going to take a break. Thank you, listeners. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back with more of Susan Glavin. And I'm with Susan Glavin, and we're talking about the power of the spoken word. So earlier, Susan, before we went to break, you were challenging our audience with two things, and that is to stop complaining and to
stop gossiping.
Stop gossiping.
Stop gossiping. And I want to share with you something that came to me that was so powerful about that. So I want your audience to think about something that's really important for them in their life, whether it be the ending of suffering on the planet, the end of hunger, the end of the shootings that are happening in our schools. So those things that are like, they're passionate about, like, this needs to end. So I just want you to consider something, that every time you gossip, speak ill of another, holding them in a low light, that you are actually perpetuating those things happening on the planet. That actually adds to that suffering on the planet. So for me, That'll stop you quicker than anything, is to consider, wow, when I'm speaking about someone, that's affecting this thing that I'm really passionate about ending in the world. So it's just a wonderful thing to notice. And another thing too, if people, you've been used to engaging in people and gossip, you can just say, you know what, I decided to stop doing that. And when you're around people that are gossiping, you can either walk away from that conversation because you're being affected by that greatly, or you can take the people. This is a really profound, courageous move. You can take the person that's gossiping about another and take them by the hand and take them to the person they're talking about and say, they have something to say to you. I tell you, it would be the last time. Yeah, that's the real courageous move. So, yeah, so I would really challenge you all to take this on, to really take this on and see the shifts that happen in your life. If you're not living the life that you love right now, if things aren't turning out the way you desire, then I guarantee you these two things will make a profound difference in that happening.
Yes, it's really being conscious of the words that we speak. And like you said, Susan, challenging someone to take it on. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about mastery. And as masters, we need to be responsible for the energy that we put out, for the frequency that we put out, the projection that we put out. Even when we're talking about our political mess of everything that's going on out there, what is it that you would like to see happen instead of talking about the drama and what they're not doing? I can relate to that because when it comes to my own journey in that, I'm really picky and private about who I share things with when I'm going through something, and it's because I don't know about other people. I don't want them to affect my field because I know how powerful people are. They're powerful whether they realize it or not, with negative or positive. And so unless I know what your level of integrity is like, I'm not going to share with you my own personal situation, because I don't want you worrying about me, and I don't need you affecting my field with negative words, thoughts, or whatever. So because only projecting the positive into the field, and that's what I hear you saying, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have such a profound effect, masters, because you really are.
Absolutely.
So own it. Claim it. It's yours.
Claim it and own it. Yeah.
Own it.
And so, I just the other day called you up and invited you to be part of this show. That's because I was woken up at 1 o'clock in the morning by my guides and saying, texted you, I think at 1 o'clock in the morning, and want you to share this story about Africa with us, because such an incredible story that you have to share. You recently were at the airport. You're on your way to Africa, and that was in January of this year, January of 2018.
Actually, February.
Was it in February?
February 9th was the day. It was so awesome. I had just made a Facebook post. Off I go with this airplane taking off, right? And I get to the airport. I'm all excited. I got everything ready. I checked in the night before. All I needed to do was put my passport in and get my boarding pass, right? And check in my luggage. So I'm standing there and I put my passport in and it says expired. And I went, oh, no, hang on. Put it in again, put it in about 3 more times. And this young gentleman came up to me, says, are you having problems with it? I said, yes, it says my passport's expired. And he goes, well, let me take a look at that, dear. And he looks at me, he goes, honey, your passport's expired. I mean, okay, who plans a trip for 8 months to Africa and has an expired passport? Who does that? I was so embarrassed. Okay, that was the first thing. I was just so embarrassed. Everybody do, all my clients, off to Africa she goes, right? And I'm like, oh my God. And my heart was just pounding. I remember he says, well, you can go through the line and see what she can do. And I'm waiting. And I'm serious. When the term beside yourself, I was outside. I was like, wait, no, this is not happening to me. This is not happening to me. And it was so funny when I got up to the gal at the counter, and I noticed I was doing a little song and dance kind of thing. Like maybe she wouldn't notice. I was going, well, here's my visa. Let me give you my visa here. And she said, oh, honey, I'll need that in just a minute. And she gets it and she goes, sweetie, your passport's expired. And I was just like, it was like, And I remember pulling my luggage, my backpack over to this little bench, and I sat there for him. And I went, oh my gosh. So I called my guy at Odyssey Safari to let him know. And he was like, oh my God, how did this, yeah, I know. And so I'm just sitting there and he says, let me get some things handled. I went, okay. And I called my friend who was taking care of my cat. And I told her, she's gone, oh my God, you kid. I know. And she goes, do you want me to come and get you? I said, no, I need to kind of decompress a little bit. I think I'm going to Uber at home. And I did. And I got in the Uber car and I was telling the woman what happened. She says, that happened to me. And I said, it did. And she goes, you need to get on the phone right away to the passport agency in Seattle. If you don't have an appointment and a confirmation number, you're not going to get in. And I was like, so I am on my phone just dialing away, getting on there. And of course, it's all automated, right? And so I'm sitting there waiting. And it says, the first available appointment. And I'm like, because if I don't leave Monday, kids, it's like too late. Yeah, it's the week already. I'm like, this is it. And so they say Monday at 8:30. I was like, hallelujah, hallelujah. I was so excited. So immediately Walgreens, passport picture, all the things, get it dialed in. And then I just got to sit in my office in total embarrassment. Like, well, okay. And then I immediately put a Facebook post out. Guess what, guys? This is what happened. And the intent is to get to Africa. And this is what I'm going to do. So I have to get this information off to Odyssey Travel because I have to have a confirmed flight because you can't get your passport the same day. So I do that and I'm waiting for him. So I make a train reservation up to Seattle. I get a reservation up to the DoubleTree Hotel. Yes, to get it all dialed in. And then I'm waiting for him. Saturday, I get an email. Here's your new itinerary. Well, my first one was from Portland to Amsterdam to Nairobi. Sweet little flight. Well, the second one was from Seattle to Washington, D.C., to Ethiopia to Nairobi on Ethiopian Airlines. Okay, so it was a whole, with an upcharge of $1,140. I was like, oh my God. I was like, am I not supposed to go? Because I'm a in the flow kind of gal. If things need to flow for me, let's just let it all flow. Things were not flowing, okay? So I had this extra money for when I got back from my trip. Well, that was like all going into the bank. I remember praying on the way to the bank, okay, angels, I need a sign. Is this in my highest and greatest good, or should I call it a day? So I get to the bank, I put all this cash in there, and I get a 13313, which is, one of my numbers. So anyway, so my friend drops me off at the train station. I'm sitting out in the sun and I'm all excited. Okay, this is going to happen. This is good. And all of a sudden the voice says, did you bring your credit card? And I'm like, oh my God. And I look at my little travel pack, right? Open it up. No credit card. I had left it in my purse over the weekend when I was getting some stuff. And I was like, call her immediately. Oh my God, I left she goes, what the hell is going on with you? And I said, I know. So she goes, okay, I can't do it, but my friend's here. Where are you? Where's your credit card? She's in the car. She's on her way down. I have 15 minutes before the train comes. And
so with that, Susan, with that 15 minutes before the train comes, I'm sitting on the edge of my seat again. So we're going to go to break and we'll be back and you'll tell us what happened after.
Okay.
You're listening to the Kornelia Stephanie Show. We're going to go to break. We'll be right back. Hi, everybody. I don't know about you, but I'm on the edge of my seat with this story again. And so Susan was at the train station and she realized she didn't have her credit card. And now she was making a call to get her credit card and take us.
Yes. So there I am, and I am literally pacing. I have 15 minutes before the train gets there. The gal's on her way. I'm like, oh, please, come on, bring it in. So I'm standing there. I see my train coming, and I get a text from the woman who has my ID and credit card, and she says, I'm here, but there's a train going in front of me. And I turn around, and there's a train going behind me, and she's on the other side. And I'm Like, really? That's what I'm thinking. Like, are you kidding me? So I talked to the guy. I said, how long will you hold? He goes, oh, no. He says, we don't hold the train. I said, okay. He goes, well, I tell him what's happening. He says, well, you can give your ID and credit card to the guy up front and we can see if we can get it on the next train up. And I'm like, so I text her, can you? She goes, are you sure you want me to do that? I'm going, I have no choice. It's time to go. So I get on the train, get up to the DoubleTree, and I'm checking in. They go, well, we need a credit card. And I go, wouldn't that be nice? I said, hopefully it's going to be on the 6:30 train. And she goes, well, we can't check you in without it. And I said, she goes, do you have a passport? And I said, yes, I do. She didn't know it was expired. And so that got me in. Another Uber. My Uber bill was really good, let me tell you. Okay. So down to the train station, I'm just praying, please. Oh, lots of prayer work. I'm telling you, I was like, come on, come on. So I get out of the car and I'm walking and I see this iridescent, literally iridescent rainbow on the sidewalk. And I'm like, oh, good. And then I look up and I see 777, which just happens to be my number. And I'm going, oh, we're good. We're golden. And I walk in and I said, my name's Susan Glavin and I have a package for me from, and he hands it to me and I'm like, doing the dance, right? So I go back, get up the next morning, another Uber ride down to the Seattle Passport Agency, get all that done, back home, back down at 3:00. I have my passport by 4. My plane leaves at 11. And I'm like, okay, I have my passport and a chocolate chip cookie. Okay. I was like, yay. So I go home and I'm just relaxed. I'm back to the hotel, relaxing. And I always bring my cards with me. And I pull this card and it says, unstoppable, perseverance, nonconformity. And I'm going, you think? That's what I think. Like, you think, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I get ready, off to the airport. I'm just so excited. Again, I'm off, right? Everything's good, everyone. And I get there and I'm telling the gal that's checking me in, I'm saying, oh, you won't buy supposed to be on this flight on Friday, blah, blah. She goes, you'd be surprised how many times that happens. I'm like, yeah, no. I said, okay. So and then she goes, I need to see your visa. So I hand her my visa and she says, I don't like the way this looks. And I'm like, what? What do you mean you don't like the way this looks? She goes, and it's expired. And I'm like, what? And she goes, yeah, I don't think this is the correct one for where you're going. And I'm telling you, at that point, I thought, do I drop to the ground now? Or what am I going to do? I mean, seriously, I thought I was just going to drop into a pile of, whatever. And so she goes, I need to Google some stuff. So she's Googling. I'm sitting there going, no freaking way is this happening to me, right? She calls one of her associates over and she says, what do you think of this? And the gal goes, well, I think it's all right. She goes, no, I don't like it. She's standing. She goes, well, I just don't want you to get to Africa and have challenges. And I'm like, I want to go, lady, get me on that plane. I'll take care of it when I get there. That's what I was going. Okay. I have to say, during this whole time, I never got, nasty with anybody. I never cried once. I just kept going. I wasn't going to be a victim of this. I was going to be, empowered by this. I knew there was something here because I always tell people, life is always working on your behalf, even when it doesn't look or feel like it. Well, let me tell you, I had to really embody that one. So she says, I need to talk to my supervisor. And she leaves and I'm standing there. And the lady goes, I'm so sorry. Oh my God, no. 20 minutes. I'm standing there and I'm thinking, this could be it. You may not be going anywhere. And you've invested another, how many thousands of dollars on this trip, right? So she finally comes out and she says to me, wow, I guess it's okay. Okay, I did want to just go, can I hit you a couple times really hard? I did. I just wanted to get her just a little bit, right? Worried. I just said, okay, got that boarding pass. And I swear I ran to the gate. And I sat there in the seat, just making sure I knew where I was. This is good. Of course, I had a couple hours and I thought, I'm going to get something to eat. And I walk around the corner and there's the African Cafe. And I'm like,
Yay.
yes, yes. But
Yay.
no, the wisdom that I got, I didn't get it right at the time. Of course, it took me a little while to really get the full impact of this beautiful gift I was given. And I mean, gift. I have some really big goals this year, and I've decided to take this year to really bring them forward, to really ground them in. And they're pretty lofty. There's a lot of things to do. And guess what? It's not always going to be easy. There's going to be times when I'm going to want to give up, or it's too hard, or, all those things are going to come into play. Life isn't always flowing. Do I love the flow? Absolutely. Who doesn't? But there's times when it's like, you got to show up. You have to show up and stay committed to what it is you're doing. And I'm telling you, I was going to Africa. And that's exactly what happened. Even with all the hurdles, everything I had to go through, it all happened.
And it
And
all happened. And would you also agree that part of the reason why it happened is because you are embodying your mastery, and at the same time, you could have very easily been, the term that they use is spiritual bypassing. Oh, I'm going to go with the flow, and this isn't meant to be, and I'm not supposed to go. But in your heart of hearts, you knew that you really wanted to go and that you were going to do whatever needs to be done in order to make that happen. The fact that that angel in Uber was in the car and said, that happened to me, and this is what you need to do, that was a complete gift right there. And thankfully, you shared it with her about what happened
yeah,
to you. But I'm finding that, we can't have somebody do something for us that we aren't willing to do for ourselves. And I think that that's what that experience also showed you, that no matter what, that you're committed, you're
yes,
on it, you're a soldier, you're a warrior, you're going to move mountains because you're going to get it done, because in your heart of hearts you knew you were going to Africa and you were unstoppable.
yes, I was unstoppable. And I got the gift of every piece of that, every piece. And that I think is the beauty of it. Everything is always happening on our behalf. It truly is. It's whether you're willing to look for it and keep going. And it wasn't that I didn't want to just scream and go, what the hell's going on? A few times, but it was like, no, that's our mastery. That's what we're talking about here, our mastery, stepping into that and being that victorious person instead of the victim of life, right? And knowing when to put the pedal to the metal and when to take a pause. That's where we're playing in that. The mastery truly is about that.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. Love
Yeah.
that.
And, part of what we're talking about here is we're talking about the power of the spoken word and how not to gossip, not to infect the field, not to complain. And everything you were going through during that time would have given you, as a victim, possibly,
Yes.
the perfect opportunity, not as an empowered, awake person that's responsible with their energy. You would have been able to just go, oh, these people are against you, this trip, it's not going to work out, and all these things. You would have been able to just say all these negative things and put that out there, knowing that this energy is going to come back and that you're creating your environment, you're creating your energy, you're creating what it is that you want by the words that you speak.
Yes. And I could have blamed a few people, honestly. Safari, the visa service. Why didn't they catch this? It was like, blah, blah. No, this was mine. I'm an adult, responsible person. This was mine, and I owned it. And that's why I think it unfolded the way it did. I was like, why? I wasn't on the phone screaming at people. How did this happen? It was like, I just took responsibility for it.
You did. And that's what's so beautiful, because it's like, look at what you did, the foundation that you set for yourself. And that's how the end of 2017, beginning of 2018 that's the ground that you're anchoring in. And now everything, like you said, you have big goals, you have big dreams, you have big visions. And now everything is built upon that ground because of the way that you showed up for yourself. And that's so inspiring, Susan, because that's what you're doing in creating your environment and then helping other people with the story that you're telling and with what it is that you're doing. So I thank you so much for doing this work, because it's like, it's huge. I mean, going to Africa and, with an expired passport one day, and then, you went anyway and you got it done. So congratulations.
Thank you, babe.
Yeah. Let's take a break, and we'll come back and we'll talk some more with Susan Glavin. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. You're listening to the Kornelia Stephanie Show, and I'm talking with my very special guest, Susan Glavin, and how we can all be unstoppable, how we can step into our mastery. And Susan is inspiring us to stop complaining and to take hold of our mastery, and she's challenged us. And so thank you so much for sharing your incredible story about your expired passport and how you went to Africa anyway. And so, what an incredible story, Susan.
Yes, looking at it, if that wouldn't have transpired, if it wouldn't have happened, I would have known that I gave it all I had.
Yeah.
Yeah, I truly was unstoppable. But I really think the force of that, and I really believe that my living in integrity and really living what I'm sharing with you tonight, the not gossiping, the not complaining, speaking powerfully about my life, who I am and who's in it, was a really force behind all of that happening also. I could absolutely guarantee you that.
Yes, yes. So, Susan, you do a lot of things. You're down in Portland or Vancouver, Washington,
Yes.
right? And so you're a hairdresser right now. I mean, that's one of the things that you do, but you do many other things, because you've got your women's circles, you're a
Yes.
writer, you're a creator of products. Right now, you're creating a product that you're going to be introducing into the hair industry. It's called Heart of Hair, that's coming. And this is a unique creation of yours that is exclusive for the hair industry. And
Yes.
so we'll be watching that unfolding for you. But also, you have some free gifts for our listeners today. Please tell us what they are and where they can get it.
Yes, it's a beautiful transmission that came to me right after I started the creation circles for women, which are a safe and sacred place where you can be heard, honored, and cherished. They're beautiful and extremely powerful, because when the women gather, the magic happens.
Mountains move.
Mountains move. It's amazing. They're really for me. But it's called the 5 virtues of an extraordinary life, extraordinary relationships. And we start our circle with these. This is a beautiful foundation for life. And you can go to my website at www.susanglavin.com and sign up, and I can get you those 5 virtues. And I highly recommend that they be a template for your life. That's how powerful they are.
Yes. Yeah, and one of the things about extraordinary, because that's who you are. You are an extraordinary woman. You embody extraordinaire. This is what you've always demonstrated with living in your integrity. Is you're so committed and dedicated to living an extraordinary life. And I mean, that's not an easy task, in today's world, because that means we consciously have to continuously keep having that as a clear intent, as a clear intention to that's a goal, that's a virtue that I want to embody, an extraordinary life, and I'm going to do whatever it is to live that and be that. And so that's the reason why you created the 5 virtues of living an extraordinary life, because that's what you do, right? And so if people want to come to your women's circles, where do they go? And if people want to come and get a fantastic, over the top, ridiculous, amazing, super gorgeous hair appointment with you?
Well, you can go to my website. That's all going to be revamped. It's like there's this new creation, it's all coming. It's spring is sprung, right? Growth. And I feel so blessed and inspired to get this beautiful information. Yeah. So you can go to the website. You can actually look at the circles. They're in Vancouver, Washington at the Bija Body Bliss Yoga Studio. And we always gather at the first of every month.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And yeah, you can come to Allure Salon and Spa, and I can, take such lovely care of you and do the best job so that you look as beautiful on the outside as you are on the inside.
Yes, to get your
And
inner and outer.
yeah, and believe me, it's more than just a hairdo,
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
yeah, it's completely, you sit in a chair, and it's just amazing what happens when people come into your chair and they get to experience that whole vibrational energy shift, and then something happens for them. So it's not just hair,
Yeah.
it's what's happens on the inside as well, isn't it?
Yes, yes. And I am so grateful to be able to touch people's lives every day. It's powerful. And that's why the course, The Heart of Hair Beyond the Chair, is, it's about being a master around your work environment and being fulfilled in your work environment. It's very exciting.
And I bet, Susan, that's a lot where you see about some of the gossip that goes on and some of the complaining that goes on, because you're on the inside, and
Yes,
then you're able to really see about what happens there and what kind of environments people are creating. And again, as your gift to us is you're wanting to make conscious the parts where people are unconscious, and they're
yes.
maybe not aware that that's the environment they're creating. And this is what you want to share with them, that hey, it doesn't have to be that way, that you can create a better environment for yourself. Is that right?
Beautifully said, honey, because people aren't aware. And that is why I want to bring this awareness of that they have a choice. They can shift their life. And, it's not just for the people in the hair industry. Anyone could take this course and get tremendous value. But because I love these things and everything's kind of come together, it's truly about the people they touch every day. We touch hundreds and thousands of people that go out and they affect their families, their communities. So if we can use our power, our inspiration, our healing touch, because we really do have it, and send those people out, it's going to affect it. The ripple effect of that is profound, and I know it. And that's why I'm so passionate about it, about doing this work and sharing it.
And thank you so much. I'm going to ask you for final words. So get those words, but I want to tell the listeners about my upcoming course, and I have to go through it really quick because we only have 1 minute left. And that is my upcoming wholeness practitioner course. And it is, I added so much to it. It's a retreat that's at the end of June. And I added so much to it. It's the online classes that begin May 6th. May 6th, and then every Saturday after that is an online class, and it's all about the basics, the power of the spoken word. It's about your emotional body. It's about working with the shadow. It's about changing your limiting beliefs. And it's about really getting conscious about all of the things in the physical body that we need in order to become the most emotionally wealthy and healthy person that we can be, because that's a vibration and a frequency that we're emitting out. So go to CorneliaStephanie.com and look under the Evolve tab, and then you can see Become a Wholeness Practitioner, and everything is listed there for you. And you can also email me at radio@CorneliaStephanie.com, and I can send you any insight and information. We want to thank you so much for tuning in. And Susan, what's your final last words?
Well, I just want to say that's fabulous what you're doing. I'm very excited about that. Thank you for bringing that forth. I would say this. It's really time to embody your mastery here. And I want you to know it's not always comfortable. And more importantly than anything, I would say be kind and loving to yourself as you are on this journey. It's detrimental to berate yourself and talk negatively to yourself when you're on this journey, when you're making some headway, and then you feel like you're not. Love yourself. Give yourself that love you need, okay? Because you're awesome. You're amazing. You're extraordinary. You're masters.
Wise words from a wise woman. Thank you so much, Susan. Love you all. See you next time. Namaste.